So like I was saying, basically the Coban looks bad, and actually you can see here, this is with the tape on, and this is without the tape, so you can see it takes a lot of use. But you can see the dressing, so this is how they come out, and this is what it looks like. So you can see it doesn't get any abuse, it's not like rolled down and stuff. And the reason that I apply the Coban, just like you can see over here, the edge sometimes will roll. Actually, when I try to apply those ones, I try to reach together and so it doesn't roll, but you can see here it protected. But if I would have put this, see like what I'm doing right now, see how those edges roll? So I find that each is just a small layers of Coban, it really helps to keep the dressing on. So I'll take off the dressing, do a quick assessment. Oh, beautiful. Okay, I'm doing that live, so that's why I didn't even see. So I don't know if anybody is keeping a calculation right now on how much gauze you would have need for this wound. So again, it's not that big of a wound, but we're talking about, like I was saying, 2 or 3 change of gauze. So either 4x4, 2x2, whatever you would want to use, but at least 2 or 3 of them, 2 or 3 times for about the first 10 days probably. And then after that, whatever dressing and plus Thiamazine and everything. So this is one of the reasons I use those ones. I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can see pretty well. You see like over here, so basically this absorbs a little bit, not much. Obviously, if I would have put this at the beginning of my, when it was like oozing a lot, it wouldn't have carried. But you see it can absorb. It's like a little bit of cushion. When you touch them, they're a little bit of a cushion. So basically it absorbs. And it looks like a hard substance, but basically it's not. And it's called a nitrocolloid, to the technical term. But basically what it does is, as it gets heated, there's a kind of a mix to it, and it heals very nicely. So now I'm going to show you. So I don't know if you remember, and you can look at actually the 14 days should be on that one. Most of my wound was healed, but there was this little hole that was there and still oozing a little bit. And it actually looked almost infectious a little bit because it looked like there was clear. It was not infectious, but there was liquid under because it was a little bit like a volcano. So basically there was a hole, but you could find like there was an edge on it. So I emptied up the fluids. That's 7 days later. I didn't change that. I put that for 14 days, for 7 days. Sorry, at day 14, I put this on, and it healed. See now, no, and actually, let's try to see, no holes whatsoever. And as I was telling, it's kind of at the beginning of the intro of this, because I ran out of dressing. You can kind of see, so the dressing was kind of covering this part over there. Look at the difference in color and inflammation process. I don't know if you can see pretty well over here, but this color looks quite different. This one looks more inflammatory, and this is why I wish I had like a different dressings that I could have applied and covered. And because you can see now that the healing process, actually this is a nice shot there. You see there over here, that's a different color than this. So the healing process is quite different than the top. There's a little bit more inflammatory process going on over here than in here. This is what those dressings are. That's why I call them the 21st century dressings. They're smart. They do things that other dressing wouldn't do it. If I would have put gauze on, then gauze doesn't think. It's cotton, it absorbs, and even absorb, it's a word, a big word. Basically, it takes fluid, keeps it, and do whatever. So you have to put creams and stuff like that and everything. But this now has kind of reacted to the body, created a soup that I keep talking about, healed the process, and all I had to do was keep that for 7 days. So as you can see now through the series, I'm kind of happy that I did that to myself. You see how it works, and how obviously with the knowledge and everything you can adapt, but you keep the same principle of through the series too. And I mean, it's not finished yet. I still have to heal that little part there. But look at my thumb. And you can, I wish I would have take picture actually and kind of show the difference, but look at my thumb. This is all healed. Obviously this part, like I said, is a little bit more inflammatory process. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put this part on the top here, so a little bit like this, to give a little heal up. And again, if I had other dressings, there's another dressing I would put over here to let this heal better. Because the skin is closed, but not so much. Like there's still some inflammatory. It's a bit like a first-degree burn, if you want. So a Mepitel would have been great for that. So that's what I would have probably done, is that put a Mepitel part over here. And the Mepitel, it kind of let the skin dry, but not from the outside. It's great like for road rash. So if you have a road rash, you put a Mepitel, you rub it with Coban all around, and the skin under will kind of ease up, and it won't let that inflammatory process go so bad. So probably that's what I would have put, but I didn't have a Mepitel, and so then I have those, because those are in my regular first aid kit. So you can see also the advantage of buying this versus regular Band-Aid. So if I would have just cut myself, put this, 7 days later, boom, it's gone. Now I have a burn, boom, I put this, I have a blister, because those are more for blisters dressings. You put that, boom. So now I have three type of wounds, sorry, that I can heal with those. And then, like I said, they come in different size. So right now I had like this little hole that was there. That was great dressing for that. The hole is closed. There's no more. As you can see a little bit that my thumb, like I was telling about, still a little bit difficult to move, but the skins will heal as the process goes, and the tissues and stuff. But I'm very glad of the healing process. Again, just beside this little part, which I'm going to put the other dressing, leave it again for 7 days, and kind of did. But at this point, let's say, you know, like I could kind of consider that as a fully heal. But in one of a conference one time, actually, the skin. So when you close, and we're talking like suture or whatever, it takes about 2 years. Yes, 2 years for the full skin to get about only 80% back of his thing. So that laceration that I have here, and then I got here, and then I got a suture. It's only 80% of the strength of what it should be over here, because there's no laceration, and it took 2 years of tissue and everything. So the healing process, as you can see now, we're day 21, so that's 3 weeks, helped the healing of the skin. But to get so maybe, I don't know, it's maybe 60% now of the skin, and I'm just making up numbers, but to get to 80%, so the kind of, so I can fully use my thumbs and stuff, it takes up to like almost 2 years for the skin to have all the connective tissue and stuff. So it's a long process, and as you can see now, and it was not like, we're not talking about a big lacerations like this or anything. It's burn on about size, like, you know, this size of a burn, and you see how much dressing it is. So this is one of the reasons that I use dose dressing, not the gauze. And you can see now, and actually I'm kind of glad this happened as well, and I did this experience, because soon I'm going to start doing a list of how much dressing you should have. And I didn't quite know, really, like, because it's hard, like, you know, like, you don't know exactly how many wounds in it. But I've learned a lot from this experience so far on probably what I will recommend, and you'll see in my recommendations of dressings why I'm going with those ones, and you'll see like the size of it will be ridiculous. But right now, probably number of gauze, and we're talking 2x2s, 4x4s, whatever you want to do. So let's say 2x2s, we're probably at 100, 150, if not more. Because you take about 2 or 3, let's say, to put a number, let's say 4 twice a day for probably the first 10 days. So you're 80 times 10, so that's already 80 there. And then we're at 21 days, so let's say you go down to about 2, yeah, so you're about 100, 150 of gauze. 100 and 150s. Yes, I just said the number like that. 100 and 150 gauze. That's a package. That's like this. And most first aid kits that you find outside there, there'll be like little gauze, like some even first aid kits you see, like they have like 2 gauze, but they're not for wound healing. And this is the thing. It's for first aid. I cut myself. I apply pressure. Boom! I do my dressing. I go to a hospital or do something. I treat it. It's a first aid kit. It's first aid. I'm applying pressure. But if you're starting to talk about self-reliance medicine or survival medicine, whatever name you want to give it, you have to start thinking about healing wounds. And this is where gauze is not a good option over here. Of course, if I ran out of those products, I would have to find another option to it. But again, if I have some Mepitel, that means now I can put a product over there that my gauze won't be, and I can kind of, let's say like I don't have the nice little cushion that I use initially. Well, maybe I can use now, because I got a Mepitel that won't cut there. Maybe I can use a sponge like any sponge that you have, like if you're on a sink or something. But maybe I can use this, but it's not in direct contact with the wound. There's something in between the wounds and stuff. So just even a piece of Mepitel, you can maybe improvise dressings. I didn't have the silver. Okay, then I can use maybe honey. So there's other stuff that you can use. But if you use gauze, you kind of limit yourself, and it's a lot of gear to carry for whatever you use. Gauze is in my well, I could call that my EMS first aid kit. So when I go on a car accident, I'm not putting those dressing, obviously, because my goal here is to stop the bleeding. Even if you look in my first aid kit for urban, or first aid kit I would call, I got tampons in there. Why? Because they're cheap. They absorbs a lot, and all you want to do is stop the bleeding. That's the main reason of doing it. It's first aid. But as soon as they get to the hospital, they'll clean that off, they'll take it off, and maybe I create an inflammatory process, but it's for somebody else. But I have those dressing as well, and my first aid kit's for that. So if I cut myself, I put that, leave 7 days. I put that on the top of it. I take my shower. I mean, we're 21 days. I did shower. No worry. And my wound, it's healing nicely and stuff. So this is the reason I use those dressing. And yes, they may cost a little bit more, but at the end, especially if you want to invest in self-reliance, and so if you want to do survival kind of medicine, or whatever name you want to give it, I call it self-reliance because it's, as you can see, I was self-reliant. I didn't need a hospital to do what I needed to do. Obviously, I have the knowledge as well, but I didn't need to go to the hospital. So even if I would have been in the outside, and through that, I mean, I'm up north, and right now that pretty much there's nothing in stuff. So that's why I'm using those dressings. So I am kind of self-reliant where I am right now. And so this is the reason that we use I recommend those dressing versus the other. The cost is there, but at the end, much better. The big square treated all my wound there. So basically now, instead of buying little ones and big ones, you buy like one big one, and you can cut it in a different square. If you have a small wound, you can use it for bigger wounds. And again, you assess your supplies, you look at your wound, you think about what you're going to need, and then you use it as accordingly to what you're going to have. Improvisation, probably you'll need it depending on the situation again. But I find it gives a lot. But as you can see now, let's try to see if I can see, totally healed. Again, because of a little bit of inflammatory process over here, and there's still a little bit of stiffness, but that will be there. If I continue to move my thumb a little bit and stuff, that will go away. And plus, after I'm kind of heal this one on dressing, I'm gonna stay my hands like that, because right now it's still a little bit more tender. Like you see now here, I can move and stuff and doesn't feel anything. Here it's still a little bit tender, so there's still some inflammatory process, and this will be helped. Again, I wish I would have had another dressing that would have helped for that, but yeah. So this was the little video, and we'll talk to you on the next one.